I talk about this all the time on my channel, how we'll crest the mountain, Mount Weather Mountain, where the National Forecast Agency, whatever you call it, NOAA, is located on top of this mountain. I do my video of my motorcycle. It's a very pretty scenic route on your bike. When you come to the top of the mountain, you make a left-hand turn here. And as I say all the time, once you crest the mountain, we're now going over to Berryville and Winchester. And sometimes it'll be like night and day in the weather, where it'll be like nice and sunny, or it could be raining. But today, it's kind of a hazy overcast day, but it's not like radically hot. So it's kind of interesting to kind of see that. I can right now set my cruise control. They just repaved this road. Last time I drove this car, they were resurfacing this road, and man, this thing was bouncy. And then when I hit some pretty high speeds coming back in, this car was every bit of needing two hands on the steering wheel, because this thing was just so responsive, and just literally once you get in those high speeds, this thing gets very touchy. You can see how they repaved all this road right here, and everybody's coming down the hill. And if a cop sits down here, everybody's excuse would be, oh, I didn't know my car sped up down the hill, coasting down the hill. So if I'm a cop, I don't think I'd sit at the bottom of that hill, because it's going to be every excuse in the world. And I haven't ever really seen a cop in that area. I've been driving this for 30 years. And you go back to 2005, 2004, 5, 6, I was going to move out here. Would have been a different story had I done that. It's really interesting. My wife really wasn't all up for it, but I thought this would be a nice area to move to. And I found a really nice, beautiful home. But it was right at that time where the housing market back in 2005 and 6 were stupid money. And I found a beautiful home right off of 340 up here, and it was a really nice home. That's hard to believe. That was 20 years ago. Even for me, that's 20 years ago. So this car on the bridge, she gets bouncy. When you're doing some pretty high speeds, she gets really bouncy. But anyways, so I found this really nice home. But it was then always the challenge at that time. My parents still had a home next to me, but I was trying to downsize. I was tired of paying for my parents' house. I was tired of taking care of my parents' house. I knew that our house needed a ton of work, and I just was like, it's time to move on. But there were so many variables that had to happen, of selling my parents' house and our house. But then this house was too much money. It was way out here in the country, and I think they were wanting close to like $800,000 for this home and property. And even for me, I was like, it's really about in this area here, it's really maybe a $600,000 home. Maybe. And so I just never felt good about it. But it had an in-law suite above the garage, which my parents would come visit and stay. But it would have been a whole different road. And if I had gone that direction, it would have been a whole different future lifestyle for me, even business-wise. And it'd be interesting. It'd even be the point where I've probably never even been a social media YouTube guy, because Joe wouldn't have been with me at that time. Joe lived right up the street from me. So he became an employee of my company because of being so close by, and then working for me at the tractor shop. There were a lot of things that played out where I crossed the bridge to start another business to try to make more money to pay the bills, because the public telephone business was declining in the 2000 start over again to really bring back my income again. I just was like, I'd rather just start over again and have a retail establishment where I make money by people coming to me instead of me chasing and begging for people to let me make money off of them. So the gist of the story is that I never would have opened a lawn and garden dealership to try to supplement my income to support two properties, 2 homes. So I never would have gone bankrupt back in 2008. Joe never would have worked for me at the tractor shop because I wouldn't have had that business. And then I would have just probably been a little bit more mediocre in my lifestyle. And like I say, it would have been a different ballgame, a different world. And then Joe coming to work for me from like 2011 until like 2022, I think that's what it was. His constant whispering in my ears, start a YouTube channel. I never would have had that, and I don't think I would have pursued anything. And probably would have been a more tamer lifestyle once I moved out here. If not being so much the addictions to the cars, not as big a piece of property, but a lot of variables there. A lot of things. It's just interesting how to have a different life, even for my daughter Julia. To hear a subscriber named Andrew call out my daughter being part of the problem of me buying cars, that's just a really insult and very rude. So I really take that in a personal comment, that's just rude. So for Andrew, I'm sorry, man. You start going after my daughter for my addictions to car buying, that's just rude. And you made a comment yesterday implying that a lot of these cars were all bought because of my daughter. And I just think that's a very rude comment. And you don't need to involve my daughter in my wife's addictions. So take it for what it is, but sorry, not acceptable. Right up there is where that house is. I kind of wish I could have. Well, the trees now hide it. You can't see it. I think I'll go out and say hi to my friends at Cibercana just to go out there and see how they're doing. And, maybe buy a shirt or something. Who knows? Put my Cooters hat back on. And let's see how the guys did for the month of July. Let's see if I can squeeze the guys for any information, see how they're doing. Right? Yeah, I just want to drive the car. This is more about just getting a car, some driving time, because it really needs some driving time. Just to keep the battery healthy, just to keep the engine. The worst thing you can do with a car or vehicle is let it sit forever. That's the worst thing you can do. Well, I wish I get a glimmer of hope here of the Chief bobber selling. Man, it is so hard, everybody. Once you buy something, it's yours. I mean, it doesn't even matter if it's not even upside down. Let's just say for the race truck, let's just say that it wasn't even upside down. I mean, I would have ended up selling that truck, but I would have given it away. So that truck there probably would have had success. The Ford Lightning truck, I don't think I'd be able to sell it. Even if I only owed, let's just say like 50 grand on it, maybe 60, I think that would even be very challenging just to sell it. So the irony to all my, my financial woes, even if the balances weren't off that much of value to the note on the vehicle, even at that, I guarantee I'd still be telling you a story that nobody wants to buy it, and I got to give it to a dealer, and I still got to write a check to get rid of it. Not a huge check, but I got to go to the dealership to use them to get rid of the damn thing. And I had to do it with the Ford Dark Horse, had to do it with the Ram Terror-X, had to do it with the Dodge Hellcat Gold Rush, I had to do it with the Harley-Davidson ST. I've had to deal with the Indian FTR. I have to go through the list of how I've resorted having to go to the dealership to get rid of anything. Even though the balances or every bit worth me being able to try to sell it on my own. I mean, where's that conversation, right? Yeah, I mean, batter average is terrible, but I did manage to sell about, I think, I'm going to say, at least 4. I think I've sold at least 4 or 5 vehicles, if not more, on my own. That little burp. How do you like that little burp? Isn't that pretty neat? That's nice. That's the love of the Ice Age, everybody. You're just not going to get that out of an electric car. It's not going to happen. So once again, look at the speeds. It's a 55 mile an hour road. And once again, if a cop was sitting up over the hill, now it's all by myself, at this speed right here, would he pull me? Would he pull me? I'd say on a Sunday morning, all by myself, at 70 right here, come over the hill, he'd probably pull me. To catch up, got a nice Audi behind me. Surprised he didn't come up on me and want to do a little sprint. I'll go to 6th gear. There's the 6th gear right there. You know, even I sometimes think, why didn't I keep the Corvette? Well, I mean, all sincereness, you know, it's a good, valid question. The Corvette Z06, convertible, beautiful car, low mileage, pristine condition. Yeah, in so many ways, why did I get rid of that? Well, because I got out of it, I was able to sell it. So there's like one car I sold by myself. And I'm just trying to think. Then you got the Ram TRX, the Gold Rush, that's 3. The Whipple Horse, that's 4. That's 4. I'm thinking out loud here. The Grand Wagoneer, that's 5. There's 5 vehicles. Did I sell anything else outright on my own? I just can't remember. I don't think I did. Besides the Harley Davidson motorcycle was 6. The Indian FLTR was 7. So there's 7 vehicles. Wonder what I'm missing on, I'm in 6th gear. Wonder what I'm missing. So right now I got 7 sales over 12 or 13 repos? Is that right? So, I mean, you know, where's that conversation? Do I get credit for that? Or is there another vehicle that I sold? I just can't think. Driving down the road and trying to think, it's hard to do this. I don't know. One thing the Camaro doesn't have is the rev match. Very nice. We're coming up here to Timber Honda. So what do you think? It's a Tuesday. How many people are at Timber Honda buying something? What's your guess? How many units? I'm going to say they sold 60 units last month. That's my guess. I'm going to say on, what's today, the 5th of August? Is that right? I'm going to say they've already sold, I'd say 10 units. Over the weekend, they probably sold 6 or 7. Let's see how well I know. So it looks like the parking lot's pretty empty. All right, here we go. So there's one car that just rolled in. There's 2 cars. So this guy here for parts. Another guy here, girl here, is for what? Okay, so let's pull the car up and not hit the front clip. That's what's so dangerous about these cars is, man, you can screw it up very quickly. All right, so let's go inside and let's see what the fun. I'm leaving the windows down just to air the car. I'm leaving the car kind of just to kind of keep that. You know, the things get old, they kind of get musty smelling. That's one thing on my trailer. You know, living in my trailer has been huge because the fresh water doesn't get stinky. When you have fresh water sitting holding things forever, oh gosh, it's the worst. And then, you know, you get treatment, It's just not potable. And then just the overall smell of the trailer, you know, that's what happens. And to me, I think it's disgusting. Like, when you buy somebody's used RV, I think, I know the RV dealer probably cleaned it up and deodorized it, but it's like, really? They're sleeping in somebody else's world? I'll pass. All right, so here we are. Let's start it over.